what's up? Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good?
I'm only speaking from firsthand experience because I actually love everybody that listens, and I want to just be beneficial. So this isn't a hypothetical situation. I'm speaking from my personal experience, and I'm speaking from my friends and my family that I see. Most people that I know personally, and I know a lot of people personally from my neighborhood that have college degrees. Most of them are in liberal arts. Most of them, it hasn't worked out financially. They're kind of struggling financially. That's just that's a fact, especially if you're Black. I'm trying to help people avoid a trap. This is a trap. You don't know, you're uneducated, and you're majoring in majors. What Kanye said, your major that you major ain't gonna make no money.
Mm-hmm. The trap.
Of course, we can have all kinds of hypothetical, what if this, what if that, but 9 times out of 10, most people, especially Black people, are majoring in majors that are not going to make money. They're going to schools that they can't afford to go to. They're putting themselves in tremendous financial debt, and they're getting college degrees from schools and from majors that's not going to advance their future. This is one of the reasons why the wealth gap is the way that it is. It's not, we're going to college, especially Black women, they're going to college at higher rates than any other people. So if education was the key, then you would think that the wealth gap would be closed a lot quicker. It's not like we're not getting educated. We're getting educated, but we're still not making any money. Why? We're not making any money because the job opportunities, we're not starting enough businesses, the businesses are not succeeding, and we're already putting ourselves in tremendous financial stress by taking out too many student loans and going to schools that we can't afford. So we can kind of talk around the problem to try to be nice to people, and that's something that, we could potentially do. But I don't know if that's going to be beneficial, because right now we're in a very dire situation. And the only way to get out of dire situations is to take extreme measures and to do things extremely different than what you're currently doing. So if you want to continue the path that we're on, then everybody can continue to do the same things. But I promise you, it's not going to work because it hasn't worked. That's it.
My final points. Here's the 3 ways you can get rich while using education to your benefit. So number 1, please write this down. What is the big goal or problem that you're going to solve that at least 1.5 billion people need fixed for them? Number 2, we are in a new era of education. So I totally agree. And I've been feeling like this since the early 2000s. That's why most people are not inspired subconsciously to go to school or actively participate. And parents, please listen in, because it's one of the things that I share and do with Xander. If you don't think that what you're learning is going to have an impact in your life, why invest in it? But you're learning the systems of how to learn things. So Mr. Bentley, God rest his soul, U.S. history teacher at Bishop Noel, my junior year, hated U.S. history. But he loved, you think Kramer's loud? He's 5 times louder than Kramer. I'm like, hey, I hate U.S. history. How do I get a or a B out of this class? He's like, easy formula, Dunlap. Read the notes that you take from class every day, 7 days a week, and go read 1 chapter a day on the subject. And if you do that, I promise you are average out to having a B. In terms of going back to investing, technology stocks. Paid college tuition has gotten too high. There's going to be, and you see it now with Google and Apple allowing certificates. At some point in the next 4 or 5 years, you're going to see a university format online where Google, Apple, or Amazon has a full university for 1 or 2 years. And when you pass, that will create their own pipeline for new employees in this era. So in every recession, every depression, opportunities pop up. So in 2007, all the Phoenix universities popped up, and then those panned out to not be worth as what they were promised to be. But if Apple and Google, or either or, makes a college or university that teaches you the things that you need to know for this era, and they streamline it, look how much more of a workforce they'll have that will drive up their economy and drive up the stock price. And for those of you that have kids going to college, there's only a few areas they should be looking into: science, technology, engineering. Write this one down. How to build it, like empire building. So B school is good, but you need to find a mentor that has ran or worked at a conglomerate to understand how those work. Because even going to B school, it doesn't give you a significant advantage. It teaches you how to work inside the ecosystem of a corporation, not how to build it. Of course, math and medicine. Anything outside, and then you can add finance to the end of that. So it can be STEAM F or whatever. So science, technology, engineering, empire building,
finance, yeah.
math, medical, and finance. Those are the only areas that your child should go to college for. Anything else will be a waste. And I know some people are going to be like, hey, what about coding? Coding is good. It's something that we need to learn. But parents, please teach your kids this from the ages of 7 to 15. And I hate to say it, but if we go through they officially announced a recession in 2023. We're going to have another pullback probably around 27 if you look at the Benner cycle. Around 34, we'll have another one. It is not a corporation's job to employ you or take care of your family. That is your job. Our kids, Black and brown kids, they need all the skill sets of a 25-year-old by the time they walk into college.
Okay.
I know it's going to sound crazy, but if not, we are going to be underdeveloped economically. We're going to be underfinanced. And the same thing what Kanye was saying about the venture capital market, and shout out to Ishmaeli. Like even if you look in the VC space, Black founders, even like Calendly, a great company that I use, they haven't received the same funding that like a WeWork or any Uber has received. Like we have to learn how to build a lot faster since we are already behind. So
sure. I think that's the key right there. I'm glad that you brought that part up about corporations finding inside, like they're hiring and then they're teaching, right? Because one of the things about school, and like obviously I went to school, obviously went to grad school, but it's amount of time. Like I always felt like I could have did this in like a year or 2 years. I could have been teaching it right out of my sophomore year of college. So it's about the amount of time and specific skill set that you have. And so we could hone in on the skills. And I think that starts even earlier, right? Like even in that high school, that's why I think high schools just needs to be education reform. If we could find a skill set or maybe 2 or 3 skill sets and have kids work on those skill sets. And by the time they get to school, now it's a more concerted effort of like, yo, this is what I'm here for. I'm not here for anything else, right? And get certifications rather than having degrees. Because degrees mean nothing, right? Can I do the job, right? I left with an education degree. They didn't say like, yo, you can teach. I went to grad school. I'm like, wait, I can't. I'm teaching in the city. I can't use anything that I learned in grad school. This is a totally different environment. So I'm learning on the job, which is like the most beneficial thing. Like when they put you in front of something, how will you respond? And so like learning skills and teaching skills, and I guess certifications with inside of an organization or creating your own organization, you could do both. I think that probably is like, that encompasses everything, right? If I'm doing it on my own while I'm learning from a space and I'm getting certified to do it, it allows me to actually critically think and now create on my own as well.
Yeah, and I know people clown me like online for you got to read 300 pages a day. And, you know, it's funny when I see like that or 100 pages a day, but it's like, okay, great. Everyone always asks me, I just did David Shan's podcast the other day, and he was like, how did you learn this stuff? I'm like, reading and watching the market all day. Like Trevor shouted to even backstage, Market Mondays Live, Investor. Before I'm looking at the charts the entire time. So for my parents, I am begging you, if you do not teach your kid some of these skill sets, because everyone is a corporation from the moment you're born. And here's how you know how. As soon as you were born, your social security number is leveraged on the stock market for liquidity for the United States of America. So whether you choose to be in business or not, and I said at InvestFest, everyone trades time for money. And as soon as you're born, you are a business owner. Harvard University's endowment is currently at $42 billion right now. To give a comparison, Ford's annual revenue is 127. Harvard is in one location. Ford is worldwide. So to show you how big of a business the education space is, that should give you some context. But yeah, we definitely need education reform, but it has to happen inside of our houses, our communities, because it's not the job of the government to do it. And to be very honest, they're in bed with the colleges as well. That's why they lobby so hard, so you can't write that debt off. And that's why I say, like, even when people are asking for complete loan forgiveness, that would be the equivalent of you asking Bank of America or JP Morgan to wipe away your mortgage just because. College is a revenue driver for it, and it's the only one that you cannot discharge. Please be careful. Learn, please study, follow the blueprints, come to Market Mondays Live, come to InvestFest Euro. And this is why it's so important that we teach these lessons to you guys early, because I want us to catch up and eventually close that racial wealth gap, even though we're getting down to the last deadline. We may have 2 or 3 more years before it's over with.
This that Red Panda Anthem. Ian, what's up? This that Red Panda Anthem. Red Panda, what's good? Red Panda Anthem. Your boy going up. I know they can't stand it.